Have you ever tried explaining what a phone is to someone who's never even seen a rotary dial,
Right.
let alone a touch screen?
Oh,
It's harder than you think.
it is.
Today's deep dive is all about mastering the art of describing everyday objects.
Okay.
We're going to dissect a basic English lesson, but trust me, even these fundamentals
Yeah.
are packed with insights about how we perceive the world and turn those perceptions into language.
Absolutely.
Get ready to become description ninjas, because by the end of this,
Okay.
you'll be able to paint vivid word pictures of anything you encounter.
What's fascinating about this is that we're not just learning vocabulary.
Right.
We're exploring the building blocks of communication itself.
Hmm.
How do we break down something complex
Right.
into concepts another person can grasp?
Yeah.
It's a skill that goes way beyond basic language lessons.
Absolutely. So we're going to equip you with 5 key phrases
Okay.
and 5 core vocabulary words.
All right.
Think of them as your description toolkit.
Gotcha.
Let's start with the phrases.
Okay.
These are like the framework for building your descriptions.
It's like constructing a house, right?
Yeah.
You need a solid foundation before you can add the fancy details.
Right.
And in language, that foundation is often simple declarative statements.
Okay, so phrase number 1 is about as simple as it gets. Seems obvious, right?
Yeah.
But there's a hidden depth here.
There is, think about it.
Right.
When you say it's a chair,
Right.
you're not just slapping a label on something. You're instantly triggering a whole network of associations in the listener's mind.
Uh-huh.
They're picturing legs, a seat, maybe a backrest,
Right.
all based on their understanding of what falls under the category chair.
It's like mental shorthand, right?
Right.
We're tapping into shared knowledge to convey a lot of information very efficiently.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to phrase number 2.
Okay.
It's forbed. This one's all about purpose.
Exactly. It unveils the function of an object,
Yeah.
often using those handy Umio verbs.
Mm-hmm. It's for sitting, it's for writing, it's for making toast.
Right.
Suddenly the object has a role in the world.
Yeah.
And this gets into some interesting philosophical territory.
Ooh. I love where this is going. Tell me more.
Well, it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
does an object's essence lie in its form or in its function?
Right.
If a chair breaks, is it still a chair?
Whoa.
Does it lose its chairness if it can no longer be sat upon?
Now we're getting deep.
I know, right?
It's amazing how even these basic phrases
Yeah,
can lead to such mind-bending questions.
it really is.
Okay, before we get too existential, let's
Yes.
move on to phrase number 3. It's made of.
This one dives into the material world. It's made of wood, it's made of metal, and so on.
Right.
But it's not just about listing ingredients. It's about understanding how materials shape an object's properties and, in turn,
Right.
how we use it.
Yeah.
A glass cup is transparent.
Right.
A ceramic mug is opaque.
Those material choices have huge implications.
And think about how the evolution of materials has driven human history,
Absolutely.
from the Stone Age to the Silicon Age. We've constantly been innovating with what we use to build our world.
Absolutely. The materials we choose for our objects reveal our values, our priorities, and our ingenuity.
Okay, on to phrase number 4. It's color. Seems straightforward, but
Yes.
color is more than just a visual characteristic.
It carries immense cultural weight, evokes powerful emotions, and even influences our behavior.
Right.
Think about the psychology of color.
Uh-huh.
Blue often signifies calmness and trust, while red can signal danger or excitement.
And those associations can vary wildly across cultures.
That's true.
It's a reminder that even something as seemingly objective as color
Right.
is filtered through our human lens of perception.
Exactly, which is why it's such a crucial element in design marketing and even everyday communication.
All right, let's wrap up our phrases with number 5. It's size. This one seems pretty basic on the surface,
Yeah.
but I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
You bet there is.
Okay.
Size is all about relativity and context. A small phone is tiny compared to a small planet.
Right?
And our perception of size has a huge impact on usability.
Yeah.
Think about a chair that's too small
Yeah,
or table that's too big.
right.
The size can make it awkward or uncomfortable to use.
It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Exactly.
Everything has to be just right.
Yeah.
So we've got our 5 foundational phrases.
You do.
But to really level up our descriptions,
Yes.
we need to dive into some key vocabulary words.
These words are going to add depth and nuance to our descriptions, allowing us to move beyond the basic what and into the realm of the why and the how.
Okay. I'm ready for some vocabulary unveiling.
All right.
What's the first word we're exploring?
Let's start with color, since we were just talking about it. It's more than just a simple label. It's about understanding shades, connotations, and even cultural perceptions. For example, the word blue can refer to a vast spectrum.
Right.
From the calming azure of the sky to the deep indigo of twilight.
Right.
Each shade evokes different feelings and associations.
You're right. Sky blue, navy blue, baby blue.
Yeah.
They all paint slightly different pictures in our minds.
Exactly. And that highlights how language allows us to be incredibly precise and nuanced in our descriptions.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to our next vocabulary word.
All right, so we've got color down.
Yeah.
What's next on our vocabulary hit list?
Let's tackle size.
Okay.
Now, you might think this is just about dimensions, but it's actually about so much more. It's about spatial relationships.
Okay.
How an object occupies space and how that impacts its function.
Right.
A table's size dictates how many people it can seat,
Right.
how much food it can hold, even the atmosphere of a room.
You're making me see size in a whole new light.
I know, right?
It's not just about measurements. It's about the object's relationship with the space around it.
Exactly.
Okay, on to the next word. What you got for me?
This one's a bit more tangible,
Okay.
material. We touched on this earlier. But it's worth emphasizing that knowing what an object is made of isn't enough.
Yeah.
We need to understand the properties that material brings to the table.
Right.
Why is glass transparent?
Right.
Why is ceramic opaque?
Hmm.
Those material choices aren't arbitrary.
Wow.
They dictate how an object interacts with light, heat, and even our senses.
It's like choosing the right tool for the job, right?
Exactly.
You wouldn't build a skyscraper out of cardboard.
Exactly. Material science is a fascinating field.
Yeah.
And it plays a huge role in design, engineering, and even art. Speaking of design, let's move on to a shape word.
Okay.
Round.
Right.
It seems basic, but roundness is everywhere. From wheels to planets, coins to bubbles.
Right.
There's a reason this shape is so prevalent.
I'm sensing a deeper meaning here. Spill the beans.
Right.
What's so special about round?
Well, for one, it's incredibly efficient for movement.
Okay.
Think about the wheel.
Right.
Its round shape allows for smooth, effortless rolling, but it goes beyond practicality. Roundness also has psychological implications.
Okay.
We tend to associate curves with gentleness, friendliness, even playfulness. Compare that to the sharpness of angles, which can feel more aggressive or imposing.
That's fascinating. I never thought about the psychology of shapes before.
It's pretty cool, right?
So round isn't just a description, it's a whole vibe.
Precisely. And that brings us to our final vocabulary word.
Okay.
Useful.
All right.
This one might seem self-explanatory,
Yeah.
but it actually gets to the heart of why humans create objects in the first place.
Okay, break it down for me.
All right.
What's so insightful about useful?
Well, it highlights the intentionality behind an object's creation. Someone somewhere decided this thing was needed to solve a problem or fulfill a purpose.
Right.
A hammer is useful for driving nails.
Right.
A spoon is useful for eating soup.
Yeah.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
Usefulness is contextual.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
A spoon is very useful if you're trying to saw a piece of wood.
Exactly. And a hammer is pretty useless on a deserted island.
Right.
Unless you're trying to crack open coconuts.
Right.
So useful isn't an inherent quality of an object.
Yeah.
It's a relationship between the object and the person using it.
Mind blown. We've gone from basic phrases to existential questions about the nature of objects.
I know.
To the very essence of human ingenuity.
Right.
And all this from an English lesson.
That's the power of deep diving, my friend.
Yeah.
Even the most seemingly mundane topics can unlock profound insights if we're willing to look closely enough.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident about my newfound descriptive powers.
Good.
But I want to put them to the test.
Okay.
Let's do a little exercise. How about we describe something simple, using all 5 phrases and at least a few of our vocabulary words?
Love it. Game on.
Okay.
How about a book?
Ooh, good one. All right, here goes.
Yeah.
It's a book.
Okay.
It's made of paper and cardboard, bound together with glue and thread.
Uh-huh.
It's rectangular with a smooth, flat cover that can be any color imaginable.
Right.
It's for reading, for learning, for escaping into different worlds.
Yeah.
It's relatively small, about the size of my hand. And it's incredibly useful for expanding our knowledge and imagination. How'd I do?
Bravo, you nailed it.
Thanks.
You used all the key phrases, incorporated color, size, and useful, and even managed to weave in some poetic flair.
Well,
I'd say you're well on your way to becoming a description master.
this has been an incredible journey of linguistic discovery.
It has.
But before we wrap up, I have a question that's been bugging me.
Okay.
We've focused on these specific phrases and vocabulary words for describing objects, but is it possible to describe an object without using any of these elements?
Now that's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
It challenges us to think beyond the conventional and consider alternative approaches to description. Can we truly capture the essence of an object without resorting to descriptions of its form, function, material, color, or size?
Right.
Perhaps we could try evoking an object through its smell, the sound it makes, or the emotions it triggers.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It's like we're stepping outside the boundaries of language and into a realm of pure sensory experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that language, while incredibly powerful, is just one tool for understanding and communicating our experiences.
Right.
There's a whole universe of perception that lies beyond the realm of words.
My mind is officially blown.
You know, right?
I love how even a seemingly simple deep dive into object descriptions can lead to such profound questions about language perception.
It's really fascinating.
And the nature of reality itself. What an adventure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It just goes to show that learning is a never-ending journey of discovery. And there's always something new to explore, no matter how familiar the starting point might seem.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
But I think there's still more to uncover as we continue our journey into the fascinating world of object description.
I agree. There's always another layer to peel back, another perspective to consider. And who knows what other fascinating insights await us. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come.
Absolutely. We started with some basic phrases and vocabulary words and ended up exploring the very nature of language and perception. What a ride.
I know, it's pretty cool.
But fear not, dear listener. We're not done yet.
Stay tuned, because in the final part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring even more ways to elevate your descriptive skills and unlock the full potential of your linguistic toolkit. Get ready for some serious wordplay.
Until next time, happy describing. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into describing everyday objects. We've journeyed from basic phrases to the philosophy of chairness, to the psychology of roundness. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty energized by all these newfound descriptive powers.
It's amazing how much depth we've uncovered in what seemed like a simple topic, right?
Right.
But that's the beauty of language. It's a gateway to deeper understanding, not just of the world around us, but of how our minds work.
Absolutely. So for our grand finale, let's shift gears a bit and talk about you, dear listener. And how you can apply all this to your own life.
Right.
Because, let's face it, becoming a description ninja isn't just about impressing your friends with your vocabulary. It's a skill that can make you a better communicator, a more attentive observer. And honestly, just a more engaged human being.
I love that framing. Think about it.
Yeah.
When you can describe something clearly and vividly, you're not just conveying information. You're sharing an experience. You're inviting someone else into your world, into your way of seeing things.
It's like building a bridge between minds, right?
Exactly.
And that's a pretty powerful thing.
It is.
So to wrap things up,
I
want to leave you with a challenge.
All right.
A little experiment to try out in your own life.
Gotcha.
Pick an everyday object, something you see all the time, but rarely stop to think about.
It could be anything: your coffee mug, your heist keys, that weird knickknack your aunt gave you that you've never quite figured out.
Right now, here's the twist. Describe this object without using any of the phrases or vocabulary words we've discussed today.
Ooh, that's tricky.
Right.
But I love it.
Yeah.
It's like we're taking off the training wheels and seeing if we can write on our own.
Exactly. Think about how you can evoke the object through sensory details.
Yeah.
Its texture, its smell, the sounds it makes, or maybe try describing it metaphorically, comparing it to something unexpected. The goal is to push beyond the obvious and tap into your own unique way of perceiving the world.
This is such a great exercise for flexing those creative muscles, and who knows, you might even surprise yourself with the insights you uncover, because at the end of the day, that's what this deep dive has really been about.
Yeah.
Not just learning words, but learning how to see the world with fresh eyes, with curiosity and a sense of wonder.
Beautifully said. And remember, dear listener, this is just the beginning of your journey. As a description ninja, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep sharing your unique perspective with the world because your voice matters and the way you see things is valuable. On that note, it's time for us to sign off, but keep those descriptions flowing, and until our next deep dive, happy exploring.